Hey everyone, I'm the Gamry Cat, and welcome to another Terraria video. How to make terrariums and keep your little critters as pets in Terraria. This video was suggested by Lucien, I believe is how you pronounce it, years ago on my world tour video, so everyone who thought this video was interesting or learned something from this video, go ahead and tell them thank you. I've put timestamps in the description if you are only here for a certain information. With that said, let's start the video. So first things first, in order to get a caged critter, you are going to need three things. A bug net, crafted, which you can get for the merchant for 25 silver, 32 sand of any kind, per terrarium, and of course your cute little critter you want to imprison for all of time. As terrariums are not located anywhere in the game, you need to craft them. Getting the merchant to move in is pretty simple. All you need is an empty available room and over 50 silver in your inventory. I suggest building more than 2 rooms because if you have more than 100 health and you've used a life crystal, the nurse can also move in, and the guide has this habit of constantly just insta-taking a room, so keep that in mind and build a few extra rooms just to make sure he moves in properly. Fun fact, this is a hint that the Eye of Cthulhu can spawn randomly at night, so all you need now is the bug net from this dude, or the golden net, of course, if you have fished quite a bit. Now that you have your bug net, you're gonna need a lot of sand. Also, look at that golden bunny, that's mine. Sand is pretty easy to get. All you need to do is really walk in any direction. You'll probably run into one of your deserts. At least 2 spawn per world. Look at that. They spawn very close to spawn most of the time, so it's not that hard to find them, so just grab 32 sand per terrarium. You're gonna want at least 28 of these, or 28 terrariums I mean, because there are a lot of pets for you to capture and keep. You will need 896 blocks of sand for all 28 terrariums. And just my luck, Eye Cthulhu wants to mess with me today. Get out of here. So now that you have your sand, you just need to craft it into glass, which you don't need to worry about any difference in the variety of sand you collected. Regular sand, crim sand, ebon sand, pearl sand, if I felt like getting some over here for example's sake. All of those, including the hardened variants, can also be turned into glass. It's pretty easy to do that, and they're literally everywhere, and glass is pretty helpful, so turning all these raw materials into glass is pretty useful just to get rid of all the blocks. But I guess fun fact, you don't need to worry about crimson, corruption, or hollow traveling through your inventory. This block will not turn into any of these corruption variants. You don't need to worry about that for any of the new players watching this. So I'm actually a little bit short. I guess hardened crim sand doesn't count? That's weird. So to clear up that part of the video, it is definitely confirmed that hardened crim sand and all the other, like hardened ebon sand and hardened pearl sand, those definitely do not count towards being able to make glass. The only thing that can make glass other than, like the only hardened one is hardened sand blocks. Just keep that in mind. Only collect hardened sand blocks and ignore hardened crim sand, pearl sand, and ebon sand. Okay, now I have a crap load, so we should be fine. So I said 28, but I'm actually unsure how true that is. That's just what I heard. So let's actually see here exactly how many I'm going to need. Get rid of all this random junk. I'm staring at this dude like, are you a golden butterfly? Because that's the only one I could not capture for this video. I found everything else except for that. I even I caught like 200 frogs waiting for a gold frog to spawn, because that was the only one I didn't have the luck to run into really quickly, or like half of these I ran into without even trying. Like a gold mouse I found like over here on top of this while building the marble biome. So it's like half the critters you'll run into without even trying if you just do other things and wait for them. But The gold frog actually took a long time, and so is the gold butterfly. Is still, my money is on that being the rarest. I guess that segment of the video hasn't happened yet, but these are all the things you acquire terrariums for. All the butterflies, lightning bugs, and goldfish actually just require bottles. You don't need to worry about that for now. So terrariums do need at least an anvil. Yep, they require an anvil, it looks like, to craft. I wasn't lied to. We actually just need 28 of these. And the segment on like a brief description of finding every single one of these critters will be at the end of the video for people that are just curious how to make the terrariums. So after you've made terrariums at an anvil and you have the pet you want, go ahead and craft it. You don't need a workbench, you can just craft it by hand. So this is what it looks like when you have a lot of critters that you have crafted into terrarium caged variants in a room. Looks pretty bustling and with a lot of movement, and some of them actually look pretty cool. Like the glowing snail looks awesome. Where's the chained nightcrawler looks cool. Chained nightcrawler's right over here. It's really cool. All the gold variants, of course, look really awesome because it's like they're shiny and valuable. Scorpions, both of those look sick. That's great. And I guess I forgot to mention these three. So you can actually have jellyfish in jars, but the way you get these is pretty unconventional. You have to go fishing at, okay, confirmed that you can catch these literally anywhere while fishing, but it's a 1 in 500 chance if you have 50% fishing power, which I happen to have, or a 1 in 250 if you have 100%. So yeah, good luck doing that. A good rule of thumb when you're trying to catch these is to not actually try to catch them. I mean, you could, obviously, if you're like me and you have hundreds and hundreds of bait items and a lot of patience, but I think you'll just lose your mind. But maybe I don't know you. Maybe you have the patience of a stallion, will of an ox, so maybe you feel like fishing for 800 years. So yeah, feel free to go catch those and stick them in water bottles. I think you can craft those by hand as well. But other than that, let's go on to the segment about jellyfish, or not jellyfish, I just did that. Let's go on to the segment on goldfish and butterflies. Another great tip while you're trying to capture these critters is keep your minions at bay. Just right click on their symbol up here, their little buff square, to dispel them, because they will murder what you're trying to capture. I've lost several golden critters and many regular ones to this dragon just being himself. Butterflies, lightning bugs, fireflies, and goldfish are very different. You don't craft them with terrariums, you use bottles, which you'll need more sand to turn into glass at a furnace, and then yet again at a furnace, turn one glass into 2 bottles. So you'll need 12 sand for what we're trying to do here, because you need 12 bottles, which, well, you need 11, but you can't make it in 1, you can only make it in 2s. So just grab 11 and use the last one for a potion or something. And so 10 of these 11 bottles will be used to store all these little critters right here, and then one of them will need to be filled with water so that we can store this goldfish in a cute little fishbowl. So you could go all the way to water to craft bottled water, but a great strategy that saves you a lot of time is just making a sink, which this is something a lot of people don't know. The sink will act as if you're by water. You can use the sink as you would use a sink in real life. So it's actually a crafting station, as crazy as that is. So sink, you just need 3 iron or 3 lead, it doesn't matter. You can make either. And a water bucket. Bucket's made with 3 iron as well, and you just go find water and right click on it with the bucket. So then with these 2 things you can go to a anvil and make a metal sink. This will act as a nice, quick, easy to find water system for you. So just get 1 water bucket, or water bottle rather. So now we can make every kind of one of these except for the gold one, because I'm sad. So we got the fish bowl. her a nice little friend right there. Angler, he gets nothing because he's a jerk. And which one should we make first? Monarch butterfly. It's pretty pretty sad. I think it even, get out of the way, dragon. I think it even hits like the side of the glass. It's like, help, let me out. Purple Emperor. That guy's a little more lively. Someone needs to give this dude some nectar. He's falling asleep. Okay, so Red Admiral. So many rubies in the way in here. Got another room over here for another Ulysses. Think I'm pronouncing that right? We got Sulfur Butterfly. I'm sure that you will appreciate that. Zebra, Swallowtail. And then Mr. Artsy Partsy over here, he gets apparently a second Zebra Swallowtail. But he also gets the Tree Nymph. So you get to see the difference, I guess, between the Zebra and Swallowtail and the Tree Nymph. The Zebra Swallowtail has more striking lines, while the Tree Nymph has more like plaid colors on its wings. It's more dotted it's more dots, essentially. So then we got the Julia Butterfly for Robot Bro it won't compute with him, so we gotta give it to her. Give her a cute little, wait, put that up here. Put that up there. There we go. Beautiful. He can compute with plenty of rubies. That's all he gets. Can't place it on platform, sadly. Put another one there. So that's what all of those look like. What's this last bottle for? Oh yeah, we need Lightning Bug and Firefly. I guess you do need 12. Never mind. So yeah, you need 12. So the full 12 bottles get used. So we got the last two, Firefly and Lightning Bug. Sadly, you can't really see these at all. He's talking about how he wants this butterfly down here. So they look, on the left is the Firefly, on the right is the Lightning Bug. And it's kind of hard to see the bugs themselves, but there's like little shining lights, so it's charming in its own way. It's pretty cool looking. So that's how you store each of the all the critters in the game, other than the gold butterfly, because I don't feel like spending 800 years waiting for it, because we know it exists. I have really bad luck, so trust me, it exists. So there's how you get a critter inside each of its containers, whether that be a terrarium or a bottle. You need 28 terrariums or 12 bottles, one of which needs to be filled with water for that cute little goldfish. And that's pretty much the video. Now the question is answered, but there's going to be a helpful little guide at the end for anyone that is just wondering where each of these critters can be found. It's not going to be a full guide. Exact spawn rates of these enemies will be tested at a later rate. I guess they aren't enemies technically, but they're entities. I will test them at a later rate, and we'll go over each critter one at a time in a later video, but for now this is just a simple little section for anyone who just wants a brief explanation of where you can find any of them. If you already know where each one of them I don't know, then thanks for watching this video. Leave your suggestions in the comments. Thank you so much for 64 subscribers. That's just, I'm growing really fast. It's like, it's more than I could have ever asked for. Thank you. Alright. See you in the next one. Birds spawn on the surface in forest biomes, just like cardinals and blue jays. It's pretty plain and has a very strange name. It's like an undescript species, I guess. Never before seen or categorized. Finding blue jays is just as easy as finding bunnies. You'll find them in the forest biome, day or night, and NPCs make them more common. Cardinals are found on the surface just like blue jays and regular birds. They're a reskin, basically. So they're found in the exact same place. Bunnies are very easy to find. They appear in the forest biome, day or night, and NPCs make them more common. Ducks and mallard ducks spawn anywhere on the surface in water. NPCs make them more common. And You'll notice on some of these, I'm not saying NPCs make it more common. It's because I'm not actually sure. I haven't tested every single one of these little critter dudes. Some of them become more common, some don't. I built this really Frankenstein-looking house to try to figure out if it would make scorpions spawn more often, but I have not seen any, and I've been here for like over a half an hour. So I believe some critters do not become more common if you have NPCs nearby. Some do. I think they also just have very low spawn rates. Like this duck I just caught took a good while before it showed up. I saw a mallard duck probably about 20 minutes ago, and I've just been constantly refreshing this. And I might also be full of shit, because look, there's a second one. Mallard duck, just like the regular duck, spawns in any water in the entire world. And I'm pretty sure they spawn uncommonly. They take forever to spawn. So they definitely spawn uncommonly, so expect to wait for a while before you find one. Squirrels are found anywhere on the surface, just like bunny rabbits. They're basically the exact same when it comes to spawn rate. They just, they're basically just reskins. As you can see right here, they both spawned at pretty much the exact same rate. There are a few different kinds of squirrels though. There's like red squirrels, and then there's the original kind. See if I could get any more to appear here. Squirrels are found in the forest biome, and text is still there, has not vanished yet, so yeah, I just finished killing the pirates, so it's a legitimate squirrel, to quell that one guy in the back room. They're found in the forest biome on the surface, and day or night, just like birds or rabbits. Worms are found in their natural habitat, in the underground or cavern layer, but you can also find them on the surface during a rainstorm. Worms are also found by breaking these little background decorative objects. Sometimes worms will pop out of them. The bigger the object, the larger the chance of more worms popping out. As you can see, these small ones are all not dropping them, but they can, as you can see right there. Just to prove my claim, here is a worm over here. A naturally spawning worm. I am in the cavern layer. They spawn very far underground naturally. This is usually where they spawn when it isn't raining, or you don't destroy background stuff on the surface. The regular scorpion appears just like the black scorpion in desert biomes on the surface. Deserts near the end of the world do not resuscitate the spawn rates of these guys, because a good note, I guess, is all of these critters do not spawn during the rain except for goldfish and worms. They are the only two that spawn during the rain, and there is a spawn thing that you need to remember. Like, a weird thing about spawn rate is, if you've ever been in a cave, you've been near a marble biome, but you haven't been in it, like, near it, it's not even on screen, and yet Medusas are still spawning. It's the same with the desert. I'm not in the desert right now, but enemies can still spawn over here. But like, I wasn't even in the desert biome and the sand slimes still spawned. So I'm pretty sure that what the issue I was running into is that I was close enough to the ocean biome that the ocean biome was overriding the desert biome, because the ocean biome is coded to override other biomes and act as a ocean biome. Unless it's crimson or corruption, then those are the only two biomes as far as I know. Possibly hollow. I haven't tested that. Those are the only biomes that overwrite that. So when you're searching for the scorpion, it's a good idea to remember that if you're by an ocean biome, it will override the desert and you won't see any scorpions at all. Black scorpions could be found in desert biomes. In an area like this, there's a high risk of antlions spawning and killing it though. So watch out for that. And the enchanted nightcrawler, believe it or not, this critter is not very well known. Some people will play it, well, they'll do an entire playthrough Terraria and they won't know this even exists. But get a fallen star and you can craft it by hand. You don't need a crafting table. I just wanted to not be by that blizzard. So you just need a worm and a fallen star and you can make a enchanted nightcrawler. It's not the one I wanted it to use, but I've been catching worms all night, so I have 500 of them. Not to fear, no cheating here. So this dude, he should crawl around just like it's own mob. That's like something not many people see right there. Kinda looks like a gummy worm. Fireflies are found at night in the forest biome, and their spawn rate is just like butterflies. They appear more frequently on one day than they will on another. The spawn rate is randomly determined at the beginning of each night. And I believe yes, it is the new moon. Whenever your moon phase is the new moon, these will spawn much more frequently. So if the random spawn rate and like it decides to spawn a lot right on a new moon, you're gonna see like 1,000 of these. Lightning bugs are found in the surface in hollowed biomes and are considered another one of the most difficult pets or critters to obtain. I actually had to wait here for about 45 minutes. I'd say it wasn't, maybe like a half hour. It wasn't too bad. They weren't as hard to get as the, even like the mallard duck was more annoying. Goldfish spawn anywhere on the surface in water, but they can also spawn just on land during rainstorms. If you find them in the corruption or crimson, they will become a hostile version, so watch out for that. Corrupted goldfish and the crimson variety also can spawn anywhere in the world, not just in the specific biomes during a blood moon. I forget if I said that, just in case I didn't. Here's an example, it's one right there. Cannot catch it with this. Frogs are found anywhere in the jungle. They might be found at the very bottom of it. I know they definitely spawn on the surface jungle and the underground jungle. They're not that hard to find, but remember all of these guys can be killed by enemies, so yeah. Try to get them before somebody more aggressive does. Glowing snails spawn in mushroom biomes, apparently more commonly underground, but just like the wiki suggests, they mostly always just get killed by enemies, and underground mushroom biomes are just too small for them to reliably spawn anyway, so making an above ground mushroom biome is usually the best way to find one, and it's always the go-to method that I use to find one. Finding a grasshopper is as easy as breaking grass. I've not tested the exact chances, but I believe it is somewhere in the realm of 1 in 10 every time you break any grass. As you can see, that was about 20, so if you're unlucky like me, it'll take a little longer, I guess. Sluggy, grubby, and buggy will all spawn randomly when you destroy one of these background bushes or grass as well. Not as high of a chance. I'd say it's lower than the grasshopper's chance of popping out of the grass, so probably like 1 in 30, 1 in 20, somewhere around there. But they will always spawn when you destroy these background objects. Buggy is rare, and you can see that from the color of his text. It is green, while all the other rarity colors of their text are only blue. Penguins are found on the surface ice biome and are fairly common, as you can see right there. Snails spawn just like worms in the underground and cavern layers. Butterflies can spawn anywhere on the surface. This monarch butterfly is the most common one, and the only thing really of note that's important to remember when it comes to butterfly spawn rates is they will be randomly chosen at the beginning of every single day. So some days you'll see a massive swarm of butterflies just like this, and other days you will see none. So that's an important note to make. Red admiral butterflies spawn at the exact same rate or in the exact same way as monarch butterflies, however they are less common. Zebra swallowtail spawns the exact same way as the monarch butterfly or the red admiral. It's just randomly decided at the beginning of each day. Tree nymphs are found in the surface of the forest biome, so are sulfur butterflies and Julia and Ulysses. However, tree nymphs are very rare, from what you could probably tell from their bait power. Random cardinal. Sulfur are fairly common, just as common as monarchs. Julia and Ulysses, way over here, are about as common as each other, but not as common as sulfur or monarchs, which are the most common. And then purple emperors are the second rarest. And obviously tree nymphs are the rarest. The only thing I don't have, sadly, is the gold butterfly. It looks pretty similar to the sulfur butterfly, so I'm thinking I've either never seen one or I saw a sulfur butterfly and thought it was just, or I saw a gold butterfly, thought it was a sulfur butterfly and was like, I'm not wasting my time catching that because it's only 10 bait power. Useless. But I'm assuming that it's just as rare as the tree nymph, if not rarer. So I consider the golden butterfly the most rare critter you could possibly capture. And all golden all golden critter versions of the original, they all spawn just in the exact same way that the original spawn. However, there are not every single critter has a gold variety.